here's President Trump. He is deplaning from Air Force One. He's at Beale Air Force Base in California. He's there to survey fire damage from the raging wildfires. So far, they've killed 75 people, Leland.
Who he's with there, you can see Andrew McCarthy, now the incoming House Minority Leader, currently the House Majority Leader there, both the governor of California and the governor-elect of California. Here he's going to be visiting the town of Paradise, California, which, in the words of Kevin Corke, our White House correspondent who is there, it is basically a moonscape. In his words, that there is quite simply nothing left. It has been burned fully to the ground. That is what they call the campfire there, which has now been contained by about 50% or so. That is the northern fire just north of Sacramento. We saw on the tarmac there, as Air Force One pulled up, the helicopters, both the Black Hawk helicopters and the Ospreys that will take the president and the press pool on a tour. So you understand what's happening here as the president has walked off the plane. There is a press pool traveling with him as well, and we're going to wait and see if the president comes over and makes any remarks to the press as this begins. He had talked to them earlier as he departed. It doesn't look like the president's heading over there. So right now he is headed towards the helicopters for his trip to survey the damage. Countless homes destroyed in these fires. And Jillian, as you pointed out, not only more than 70 people killed, but there are still hundreds of people unaccounted for, as now there are teams going house to house to house. And this is one of the things the president is going to see, searching for people who were not able to make it out. In some cases, there was one way in, one way out, and people just couldn't make it. If you talk, Leland, to the firefighters and first responders on the ground in these types of situations where they face the aftermath of natural disasters, or I don't know if you can actually call this the aftermath, they're still blazing, but this is now part of the hardest task, going and finding people, finding the remains of families and figuring out who is what, figuring out which of those more than 1,000 people missing might eventually enjoy, being reunited with their families and which have passed away. It's a tough, arduous, grueling task ahead of them now. So it's the next 24 hours is going to be painful for folks on every side. Hopefully President Trump being there will give them, a morale boost. Yeah, well, we know the president's going to meet with a number of the first responders and thank them for their efforts. This is the helicopter that the president will then get in. He got in there with not only the governor of California, the governor-elect of California as well, and then they will head off for their stops to survey the damage. The other part of this, Jillian, for the first responders who are dealing with this, is that fire season continues. We heard from Adam Klotz that the winds are going to pick up through this weekend. Rain is still a few days off. So you have firefighters that are exhausted, that have been working sort of endless shifts in hot, brutal conditions, trying to contain these fires, then with the possibilities of more fires to come, something the president will hear about. And there's a saying that Kevin Corke has, which is that at there are times the commander-in-chief becomes the comforter-in-chief, a role that undoubtedly he will play as he meets so many of the people affected here, Jillian. All right, we're going to stay with the president. We'll check back in once he lands in Paradise on the helicopter there.